formal dedication, but it's going to be real informal. The board's give us a beautiful day today, which we had our fingers crossed that would work out that way. I've been working real hard this week. Didn't work on a speech. So I'm going to wing it as we go along. Most of you folks have watched us on this project. Not going to kid you, it's been tough. It's been a rough project. It's been hard for people to understand the concept behind it. And the main concept behind it was this house was a Cinderella house. It had been all dressed up. It had just about everything done to it. And myself, I just could not stand to see it get torn down. So I found a few more people like that, worked for a while, and then I don't think I need a speech. You'll probably get to see what we've done, and that'll take care of it. We have to thank some people that have been very good to us over the years. I won't be thanking all of them because we'll be here till next Sunday doing this, but we had a fundraising campaign early on in this project, which is what got us over the hump. Our chairman was Dick Edgerton, who most of y'all may know. He would have been here today with Marie, but they had a luncheon party and about, I don't know, 100 people or so at their place.
At least.
So we got our wires crossed, but I want to be sure and publicly thank Dick Edgerton for chairman our campaign. I've got him a little plaque here. Another fellow that helped us was Mr. Al Liverite. Most all of y'all know Al. He is a big part of history around Mount Dora. He's
I'm getting old.
I am too, and I'm. Thank you, Al. Al's been here since when, Al? How long did you come to
1971.
1971.
What,
and
26?
owned the paper at one time, wrote
Yep.
for the Mount Dora topic.
Right.
Recorded a lot of history itself for the town. Been involved with the chamber. Done just about everything in town. And Al, we want to give you this. Appreciation of all your work.
Thank you very much, David. Thank you. We're glad for you on this happy occasion. On behalf of Dick Edgerton, I convey our congratulations.
We're going to get Dick down here another day for something, I guarantee you. Another fellow that helped us very much and was very supportive to me and inspirational in the beginning when I didn't have a lot of community support was Mr. Art Hogue. Now, Mr. Art Hogue passed away before we could get this house finished and dedicated. He did get to see it moved. And Mrs. Hogue is here. I wish Art could be here to see this today, but since he can't, we're going to do it in his memory. And we've got a plaque that if you'd take, we'd certainly appreciate it. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you. A lot of other people to thank. I want to mention some names. I want to mention the name of Bill Reed, who was our first president after taking over from, don't let me forget Harold Matson. Harold Matson was the president of the Historical Society when we approached the Historical Society with this project. And Harold was very supportive. Probably worked himself a little too hard on it like a lot of us did. Their next president, who did a lot of the work on the project, was Bill Reed, Bill and Nancy Reed. They aren't with us here today either. But one man that did a whole lot of work for us, had a big part to play in where we're at today. And as you'll notice, this plaque looks unfinished. It's got the man's name on it, Bill West. Y'all probably all know who Bill West is. I didn't put William on here because nobody would have known who he was. But the idea was he always wanted something done with a picture. Now, C. Jordan Harris, which we all know as Jody, has agreed to take a picture of Bill in front of the Unity House, a sign anywhere down here now that we're finished, so that we can insert that picture right here. Come on up here, Bill. And the plaque says, I didn't read the other ones, but the plaque says, in appreciation for a job well done, Mount Dora Historical Society. Thank you, Bill. There's a lot of other people to thank. Let me apologize about the plaques. I've worked on them for about a month. 5.5 years and piles of paper and a lot of people. You're going to miss somebody. I know what it feels like. I've been missed before. We're not through here with the plaques. If you notice your name is not on that plaque or not in the right place, not at the right level, or not on there at all, I shuffled some names and lost them in the process. You tell me, we'll get your name on there. We'll get it in the right spot. And if I get wound up here, I'll be doing the preaching here today instead of anybody else. The house is right now, it's a little full. We love it a little too much, and we kind of did a little bit too much to it at times. But we'll modify it, we'll change it around, we'll make it work somehow or another to serve the community in whatever capacity that we determine we're able to do. Of course, you know, we always need members. Two more folks that are here today I don't want to miss. Actually, 3. There may be some more if I look through the crowd. This is Dorothy and Clayton Tremaine. If you folks may know them. They have hung in there. They've been there when it's been the darkest night and when it was the toughest. I could always count on the Tremaines for a shoulder to cry on, if nothing else. And right up here is the grand matriarch of the Historical Society, Miss Helen Whittington. Just for years, the Historical Society operates. Ladies and gentlemen, let's say the Pledge of Allegiance, if you pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, liberty, and justice for all. We did all this for the community, for a sense of history in the community, because Mount Dora's got many challenges coming in the next few years. It's going to be a lot of development. A lot of us moved here because of the way Mount Dora was, the way we perceived it was. But I'll tell you, it takes more than just an image to keep this town anything like it is. And I've said it before, I'll say it again, what the town has to have is a soul, and it's got one. But it takes a little work to keep it nurtured. And on that note, I would ask Reverend Burley if he would mind coming up here. Just let you say a few words. This is Reverend Eugene Burley of the Saints, of the which one?
First Institutional.
First Institutional Church.
Thank you. It's a very proud day for me, and I was in the chamber in '85, and I guess you can find few that love this city any more than I do. Should you join me in that right over there, Wolf Branch Road it goes out to, I'm one of the rare breeds. I was born right here in Mount Dora. Went away and stayed 40 years and thought I'd never come back, but I am back, and I'm very thankful. And my first major before I went into theology was history. My first master was in history. History has a deep, abiding love in my heart, and I'm just very thankful for this as I go by and see it. Al and I was talking about it. We were watching the very feverish pitch to which you folk were getting together, and I just think it's just lovely that it stands in a complex here with a library, because it's a sense of history that we always must be concerned about. Let me say this short. Now, you put me up here, and I'm a preacher, and once you give a preacher a platform, you got a problem. Got a problem, so here I am. But let me tell you, I was reading this week and studying about the message this morning. I came across a passage that I thought really fits this occasion. It's the Republic. It is Socrates and Sophocles. Sophocles is an old man, a very wise man. Socrates is very young, but he's just starting this philosophical climb of his life, just starting it. Socrates and his friend Critias and Timaeus decided to journey from Athens down to Paris, because there's going to be a tremendous festival there. They went to go to see this festival, and they went, and Socrates said, we'll make a pledge to the goddess in the temple while we're there. So they journey down, and they see this festival. And while they was there, the Thracians decided also to have a festival. They saw that. Then they turned home. But in the crowd, Sophocles' son, Polemarchus, spied Socrates. Polemarchus said to his son, go and get him. So he goes over, the servant goes over, and he stops Socrates and this crowd heading back to Athens. And he stops and he says, you got to come with us. And Socrates said, no, we're going home. We have seen all we need to see. He said, no, my father, Apollos, said you must come. So then they looked around. So Socrates said, we got a group here. You can't restrain us. So Apollos looked at him and said, there are many more us than you. You must come. And he's catching them by the arm. So finally, Socrates' friend said, okay, well, we'll go. So they go to Apollos' house. When they enter, Apollos is sitting. His age is sitting in a chair. And around that circle, there are several chairs there. So Apollos looks up and he sees this young, aspiring Socrates. Keep in mind, Apollos is aged and wise. And he says to Socrates, young man, you ought come see me. When I was young, I would go to see you. You should come to see me. And Socrates apologized. And then Socrates said, forgive us for the mistake. Then Apollos said, you should come all the time. Make this home your home. Socrates said, yes, we will. Then Socrates said to Apollos, who's old and wise and aged, he says to him, tell me, how is life? How is the ending of life? I should come and talk to you more because you know history. You know the bridges that we need to come over. You know the distance that we must travel. In you is the history of life. So Apollos said to him, well said. Then Socrates says to Apollos, how does it feel to be going in the evening time of life? So Apollos looks at the young man and says to him, for me, for some, he says, when we get to the evening time of life, it is a struggle. We go dancing down, not knowing how we're going to land at the foot of life's hill. But about me, I take my cue from another who says, if you learn history, if you study history, if you study the crisis that they had before you, if you have something to lean on as you start down life hill, it will be much more peaceful. And then Socrates said, how is it with you? He said, with me, I take it from Socrates. I take this from an old friend of mine. When you study the history of the past, find the crises, find the bridges, learn the pitfall to miss them, I have one word to say as I go in the evening tide of life. Peace. Peace. May I want to say something to you? I want to say this to you, because a sense of history is about me. And I just hope that this community, and I pray it will, and I suppose it will rally behind you in saving as much of that school as you can. I was at Council 15. I heard somebody say, oh, it doesn't matter with me. That galls me. History is important. And what I'm talking about now, when you ride down Fifth Avenue and see that those series of buildings there, think of it. Mayor House about 80 years ago, something like that, 80 years. 70 or 80 years ago in this Mount Dora, somebody's dreamed a dream to not build one square building, but to put some identity to it, to give it class. And you and I would come along and just demolish it. That's a crime. I just hope we will rally with the mayor and whoever it takes to save those buildings, as the mayor said to the school board, at least as much of them as we can. I want to repeat something I said there. And the superintendent decried me for it, and I'm glad he didn't run again. I sure am. I make no bones about it. But I said to him, and I mean this, what we do for our children is important. Now you tell me, in Tavares you build a middle school. It is lovely. It is the last word. Then you come over here in Mount Dora and put up 17 Quonset huts. You tell me how it makes the child feel. When the child must go to Tavares to a fantastic day, to a festival, and see that lovely school, and then when you come back here, you come to a Quonset hut. And I just hope we will rally with the mayor and be with her. And if we can't save all of the buildings, at least we can save some of those buildings, because that again is the identity of Mount Dora, Florida. It is this building. It is the house down here. It is these buildings that people dreamed 50, 70 years ago to make Mount Dora the place you all wanted to come, because I was born here. God bless you. Thank you.
Take care of it. Another lady here that has helped us, y'all all know the mayor, has helped us unbelievably. Every time we went before city council and I bumbled and stumbled and tried to get my point across, Paulette was quick to take over and articulate a lot better than I could what the project was and why they needed to support us. Another thing I want to say is in 5.5 years ago, this was a lot different city than it is now. And we know that a lot of that has come from your leadership, and we certainly do appreciate it. And thank you, Mayor. Mayor Paulette Alexander.
Thank you. Reverend Burley, you're a tough act to follow. A lot has been said here today, and I'm not going to take much more of your time. You want to see this beautiful house. As Dave said, 5.5 years ago, he came to me and he had a dream of not only the history of Mount Dora. He said, you know, they're going to tear down that beautiful old home. And I said, oh, no, I don't believe that. And he said, can you help me? We have to save that home. And of all the people that received a plaque today, one person that's missing that really deserves a plaque is Dave Felt. For those of you that don't know, Dave has truly put his heart and soul into this project. He not only has been out raising money, he has physically worked here on the house, on the grounds. You can drive by and find him mowing the lawn, picking up things, painting, doing everything. I mean, he has really put his heart and soul into it. And as Reverend Burley said, it's not just this house, it's what this house represents. This house represents something for Mount Dora. It represents a part of our history. All of us that know and love Mount Dora, we know that we can't stop growth. We know that growth will occur, but there's some things that are important that we want to hang on to. We want to preserve the history of the town, not only for our enjoyment, but for future generations. And this house represents that. And that's why Dave coined the name of the house, the Unity House, to bring the community together to understand the importance of our history. The city of Mount Dora has gone a long way in the last few years toward preserving that history. We donated to this house, and I think the city paid the funds to move the house to this location. We donated the property here, and I know that I may have been the most outspoken on the council, but we do have the support of a lot of the council members in preserving our history. We now have a very active historic preservation board, and we are looking at all of the homes in the town. We now have, thanks to Lucretia West, who came up with the idea in the Historic Preservation Board, we have a program now where individuals who own a home in this town, if you have a home that is of historic significance, and it doesn't have to be as old as this home, but if it's in the condition that it was originally, you can get a plaque. You can join a program now, and everyone can have a plaque put out in front of their home that has historic preservation of Mount Dora. And that program is now active. All of these things have been, they're coming together in a compilation of so many people working hard. But as I said, I think that we all owe a debt of gratitude to Dave Felts, because he was the one who originally said, we cannot let this home be torn down. So my thanks to you. And we hope that this is just the beginning of historic preservation, and I would like to see many more homes preserved and open to the public. We will be using this house from time to time and open for the public to see, and so this is just the first day. And with that, I think we need to have the grand opening. I don't want to be remiss in thanking the entire Felts family. Even though Dave had the idea, his entire family, his wife, his children. Will y'all stand up a minute? I see them over here pulling weeds and planting flowers, and you'll see them here all the time, and they really have put a lot into this. Thank you, Lynn. Jerk it when I cut it. Okay. Okay, I now officially dedicate the Mount Dora Unity House for the community.
Here we go. Mash it, don't
Okay.